What is up, everybody? What is up? It is Sunday, March 14th, 2021. It is also another live edition of Around the Point here live on youtube.com/HeelSteven. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give the video a big old thumbs up and all that fun stuff. Hippity hoopla. Yeah, it's Sunday finally. Holy crap. It's crazy to think that it's been a year of the quarantine, of this pandemic, of everybody wearing a face mask. It's been already a fucking year. It's amazing. It's so fucking amazing where we were with the beginning of all this to where we are now, right? I want to believe, I want to hope that there is that light at the end of the tunnel coming soon, with these vaccines coming out, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and all that stuff. But yeah, I just hope there's that light at the end of the tunnel. If you, I know a lot of you this week are going to be getting your stimulus checks, that $1,400. I know a lot of you are looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it as well. I know that money's going to making some payments here and there, but other than that, I hope all of you had a wonderful week. I hope all of you are looking forward to the week coming up. Wrestlemania is literally around the corner. Holy crap, when you think about it, 20-something days away, and yet we are still like lost on what the fuck they're gonna do. We're still, I don't know really the direction they're going in. There's talks of them still back in phase one with WrestleMania. There's talks of tickets going on sale this coming Tuesday. Yeah, bro. Tickets are going on sale this Tuesday. That's crazy. That is fucking insane, if to say the least. It gives you like that hope that, again, things are going to get back to normal real soon. If you, there's talks of them wanting to fill out 40,000 seats at Raymond J. I don't know, for a lot of people, when you hear that, it's like, oh my god, that's crazy, especially since we're still in a pandemic. But again, you know, it's that whole hope, if you will. I got some news about that and more other stuff here tonight. There you go, I'm on camera, as you can see. Here I am. Hope, again, you're all having a good weekend. You're looking forward to the week coming up and all that stuff. I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I feel like crap right now. I really, really do. Work today was a kick in the ass, if you will. Today was also daylight savings, so basically you had an hour less of sleep. So I didn't go to bed till like fucking 3 in the morning. So it seemed like I was playing FIFA. I literally was playing FIFA literally all last night. Next thing I know, at 1 minute it was fucking 1 a.m. The next thing I know, holy shit, 3 in the morning. I had to get my ass to bed because I got to be at work at 10 in the morning. So there was that. Got to work. It was a all right day. Is Keith Lee here? I can't seem to find him anywhere. I don't know, brother. Keith Lee, I have no clue where he's at. I have no idea. No fucking clue. Would not be surprised if he's the next one to make a request, which we'll get into, I think, right now. You know what? Let's get into it right now, if you will. Let's get into this, if you will. Again, I want to thank all of you again for tuning in, if you will, here on Around the Point. Let me lower the music down a little bit. Let me lower down the music, if you will. You can follow me, by the way, on Twitter at HeelSteven, also over on Instagram at HeelSteven. This podcast is also available on all the podcasting platforms that are available to you, as you see in this overlay. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, also over at Anchor.fm, which is a sponsor of this very podcast. So, here's the thing. This week has been crazy in the world of wrestling. There's so much to get into. With the worlds of WWE, in the world of AEW, I got some news about that too. Also in the world of Impact Wrestling. Impact last night had a pay-per-view. I did not get to watch it. I caught the main event, which really, to be honest, was really the one thing on the show that caught my attention. and I'll explain why in a bit, but all that fun stuff. But again, guys, if you have questions as well, feel free to chime in with your questions in the chat, and I'll be answering your questions somewhere in this podcast, okay? So, fun little fact too, I don't even have any notes. I don't. Usually when I do these, I have notes and all that stuff. I don't have anything right now. Just that, keep that in mind as well. Food for thought. So it turned out, it was reported on Friday that Andrade Cien Almas, depending what you want to call him, right, made a request on Monday. Because apparently, again, as you all remember, the last time he was seen was in October when he lost to Angel Garza, and then him and Zelina Vega got attacked by The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, and it was reported that he was going to do some minor surgery, that he'll be gone for a bit. He wasn't included in the WWE draft. I'm also charging my iPhone, by the way, so keep that in mind. And he was not going to be part of the draft. He wasn't even in the Rumble match or anything. And the question was, hey, when will he make his return? And apparently he has been backstage at Raw. He's been backstage at Monday Night Raw, and it turns out that they have been doing nothing with him. They've been doing shit with him on television. He's just been sitting backstage, I guess at Titus Catering or something, what have you. And from the looks of it, he finally reached his breaking point. He couldn't take it no more. So on Monday, he requested his release. He literally went and made a request to be released out of his contract. And this news broke out literally on Friday by Wrestling Inc. And then also got, I guess, backed by Fightful. Keep that in mind. So when I hear this, I say to myself, I'm not fucking surprised. Are any of you, seriously, are any of you surprised by this news when it came out? I know I'm not. Again, when you look at this whole situation right now, right? And again, listen, we all know how talented Andrade is. We all know that already. I don't need to sit here and tell you how talented this guy is. We know how good he is. We know what he can do in the ring. We know the potential he could reach on the main roster. But unfortunately, there's always a but. There's always that one thing that I guess they don't look into, and it's like, whatever, fuck it, we just don't see anything in you, honestly. And that's what it comes down to. Let's be honest, his English, you can tell that he's trying to get better at his English, but his promos are shit. His promos are not really his strong suit. They never really were. They never really were his strong suit. Hence why you needed Zelina Vega to speak for him. And again, I'll be honest with all of you. When Andrade came in 2016, right? I've heard so much stuff about, he was La Sombra, right? He was this great luchador in CMLL, right? Also in New Japan. He wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura. He was a former IWGP Intercontinental Champion, right? So when he comes to WWE, he goes to NXT. I remember him being this dude who wore a fucking funny little hat and wore fucking suspenders and shit. And he had these solid matches, but they really weren't like, oh my God, like, they got me excited. Nothing really. And at the time, keep this in mind. When you look at NXT at that time in 2016, when he showed up, right, when he was finally making, I guess some moves, if you will. At the time, you look at the NXT roster, right? You had Samoa Joe, you had Shinsuke Nakamura, you had Bayley, who was on her way out, you had Bobby Roode, who at the time was doing this whole Glorious, right? Remember, you already know how that went, right? Austin Aries was still there too. Just to name you a few, if you kind of get what I'm saying. So the reality, also you had the rise of Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, you had the Revival. So you had all these top talents that were talented in their own right, and he was just lost in the shuffle. Just lost in the shuffle. And then he grows out his hair, gets partnered with Zelina Vega, and it's what he needed. And look what happened. take over. And again, I don't want to sit here, and I feel like I am. I feel like I'm giving you guys a history lesson on this guy, which I really don't want to do. I really don't. But you kind of get where I'm going with this, right? He went out to become an NXT champion. And what's funny is that people will tell you, oh, the match that won them over with Andrade, that made them an Andrade fan, was the match between Gargano and Andrade, Cien Almas from TakeOver Philadelphia. For me, it was TakeOver Brooklyn 3, because I was there in the building and I saw them wrestle. And they opened the show, by the way, and they tore the house down. And I remember telling Walter, at Hey I'm Walter, by the way, on Twitter, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm now a fan of Andrade Cien Almas. I don't know what it is, but I'm a fan of him now. I even said that same year, hey, you know what? When he comes up to the main roster, I can see him being a holder of the Intercontinental Championship down the road. At the time, the IC title was the white leather strap and the old school belt. You kind of get what I'm saying. You kind of get... Drew was there too. Absolutely. Yeah, Big Mike. Absolutely. Drew was there too. And he beat Drew for the championship. And then he's had these killer matches, right, with Gargano, TakeOver Philadelphia, which again, he should go out of your way and give a watch. And then he had that match with Aleister Black at TakeOver New Orleans where he lost the championship. But when he got partnered with Zelina Vega, and by the way, Aleister Black is another one that we don't even see. And I'll get into that. I think, and I'll be, you know what? I'll be the one to say it. I will be the one to say it because no one else is saying it. And I'm really shocked by this. No other podcaster, no other YouTuber is saying this. And I will say it in just a little bit. Okay? I will say this in just a sec. Just bear with me on this one. Right? He goes to the main roster, right? And it's there. And again, Zelina was doing the talking for him. All he had to do was just go out there and perform. And it was going, it was going all right. It wasn't going anything crazy. On the main roster, he had that match with Rey Mysterio on SmackDown that everyone talked about, that tore the house. That hell, people were assuming that it will lead to a WrestleMania match down the road between Andrade and Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title. And it never happened. Why, I don't know, but it never fucking happened. And again, it's just one of those things where they would rotate between Raw and SmackDown. And then the whole pandemic happened. They put him with Angel Garza as well. And it all led to Zelina Vega, I guess, wanting to become a streamer, because everyone was doing it, right? Everyone was becoming a Twitch streamer at the time. Wanted to fight this whole policy of third-party launching OnlyFans, but apparently, I'm pretty sure she's still charging people $1,000 for like a certain amount of pictures and shit, which is ridiculous in its own right, but it is what it is. And then that's what happened. The moment they separated them, that's when the moment where everything went downhill for Andrade. That's the moment everything just went to shit. And now he's not even being used on television. I'm not surprised at all. The only saving grace in all of this is who he's dating. He's going to be married to wrestling royalty. He is marrying a Flair, which in itself is a championship in its own way. And good for him. Good for him. I want to believe, listen, if they would have granted him his release, a part of me wants to believe that Charlotte Flair would have followed suit. Can you imagine what would have happened? Can you imagine this for a second? What would have happened, right, if Andrade would have left, right, and Charlotte would have followed suit? Just imagine that. What the fuck would have happened? Heads would have fucking rolled. Now, it was reported that his release was denied. They denied him his release. So they're going to make him sit out his contract likely. I don't know how long is on his deal. I don't even know. Who's to say that, hey, what a coincidence, tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, he shows up. They have him on television. Who's to say, right? Could be. Could very well be. And I said this on Twitter a couple of days ago when this whole thing happened, right? Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. You know what? I'm going to fucking find the tweet that I said on Twitter just to be accurate on this one. That's what I'm saying the shit word for word. A lot of people, again, want to say again, it's sad what happened. I agree. I'm one of those people that believe it's sad as well. But I really feel, and at the same time, when you look at the roster that they have right now, and again, on that main roster, they have a lot of talented people that he just gets lost in the shuffle. That's what it is. He's lost in the shuffle of who they have on that roster on Monday night and even on Friday night. The same thing happened in his early run at NXT. The same thing happened. So when I'm hearing all this, right? You know what? And I said this on Twitter. I said I was going to get back to this. I did say that. I blame Tia's OnlyFans for Andrade's WWE Reuquest release. Yeah, I said it. I blame Zelina Vega's obsession with OnlyFans for this happening. That's right. That's right. Think about it. Has Zelina Vega, Tia Trinidad, never done this? Has she never opened an OnlyFans? She'd still be with the company, right? And Andrade might have been on television still. Not only that, but because of this, not only does she fuck over Andrade's career in WWE thus far, also her husband's. But no one's saying that. No one is saying that. You guys can't tell me differently. Now, what I'm hearing too from people, and this is another thing that I kind of laugh at. Oh, he should go to AEW. Oh, he needs to be all elite. What a coincidence. Him and Zelina Vega are both, like, Zelina Vega, right, I don't know when her 90 days is up. I want to believe it's going to be up real soon, right? And if Andrade's out too, he's going to be doing a 90-day no-compete clause. They're going to hit him with that 90-day no-compete, right? So when it's over with, oh my God, they're both going to be free. Hey, Tony Khan, sign them both. That's the thing too with a lot of you dorks. A lot of you want to go on Twitter and beg said promoter to sign certain wrestler as if they're going to fucking listen. And I know I shouldn't be talking. I know I should not be talking because I posted a tweet out to Tony Khan regarding Kip Sabian, which I'll get into in a little bit also. I'm in the flow, people. I'm already, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it today. I really, really am. So, all this is happening. People are wanting them both to go to AEW. As if AEW doesn't have enough former WWE talents on their roster. And look at their track record. And I ask this question. What makes you think, in your bubbly mind, that AEW is going to fucking make a big deal out of Andrade or La Sombra? By the way, apparently, there's another thing too. Apparently, there's another thing also. Andrade has trademarked La Sombra and Andrade El Idolo. So likely when he's out of WWE, he'll either go back to being La Sombra or Andrade El Idolo, one or the other. But again, look at AEW's track record with these former WWE talents that they have on their roster. Look at Shawn Spears. Are they moving the needle with him? No. FTR, they gave him the tag titles. They had that one match with the Young Bucks. After that, no one's giving a shit. And I know now that there's a new inner circle. There's a new faction, right, that's challenging the inner circle, right? There's Miro, which we'll get into also in a bit. What are they doing with Miro? They're doing shit with him. All I'm seeing Miro do now is trying to call out Jim Cornette on Twitter. That's how the mighty has fucking fallen. Be dialing, people. Be dialing. Be dialing, people. Be dialing. That's how fucking fast the mighty has fallen in Miro, if you will. Who else, I guess, is a former WWE guy? With the exception of Jericho and Moxley. Everyone else has just been blech. Blech. And don't get me started on Christian Cage, which I'll get into also in a bit too. Okay? Bad Bunny is performing right now on the Grammys, unfortunately, with no 24/7 title. Good. Good for him. Good for him. I want to believe, and again, when the day comes that he does walk out, and that he does leave, right? I believe that, you know what? He'll end up probably somewhere in Ring of Honor. Or maybe somewhere like New Japan. I can see him in New Japan, believe it or not. I don't see him in AEW. It's funny because one of his good friends is the current Ring of Honor World Champion, Roosh. Him and Roosh have history back in CMLL, back when they were part of Los Ingobernables, the original Los Ingobernables, right? Fun little fact, apparently it was Andrade who advised both Roosh and Dragon Lee to not sign with WWE when they were free agents. Need I tell you all right there? I mean, listen, again, at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. Do I want to sit here and tell you guys that, oh, he's going to show up on Monday and it's like nothing ever happened? Who knows, really? I just think right now what's going to happen, they're going to probably have him set out his contract. He'll probably do some jobs here and there. The release will happen probably after WrestleMania or so. Who the fuck really knows at the end of the fucking day? But there's that. It sucks because, again, you know how good he is. You know what they could do with him, but they just don't do it, right? Because you can't tell me this guy can't perform, because he can. He can perform. He can wrestle. He can give you good matches. Just sadly, at the end of the day, it's just the whole situation. When I mentioned this earlier, a lot of people on the roster right now, he's just lost in the shuffle. It's as simple as that. So we'll see what happens. Guys, I'll tell you what, in the chat, give me your thoughts. Where do you see Andrade going? Again, should they grant him eventually his release and all that fun stuff? And we'll keep this going. We'll keep this going as well. Again, it is Sunday. It is March 14th, 2021. We are literally a couple of days away from WrestleMania. And it turns out that they still don't really have, I guess, a format for the show, like anything going on. What we do know is tickets are going out on sale this coming Tuesday, I believe. Tickets range from $35 all the way through, I believe, up in the 2000s, some shit like that. Apparently, they're doing bundle tickets as well. And apparently, WWE is trying to sell out each night 40,000. Apparently in Tampa, they're able to do a 75% capacity. They're trying to, again, be the all-time attendance during a pandemic, during this whole COVID thing. And again, their slogan is, they're back in business. That's the slogan, but for what, 2 nights? And then after that, it's back to the Thunderdome? We have no one in the building? That's back in business, apparently. That is back in business. But yet, they don't have a full structure of a show. Think about it. All you know thus far, right, is basically, this is what we know so far. It's Edge and Roman, Sasha and Bianca. That's all you really have right now. And like what, 20 days plus away from WrestleMania? That's all you really have right now. I'm pretty sure they'll do Bobby and Drew, likely. They'll probably do Charlotte and Asuka. Apparently, there's talks of Asuka having a concussion that she might miss WrestleMania. I know Peyton Royce cut this fire promo right there. Everyone, oh my God, they're going to do something with Peyton Royce now. I just don't see it happening. I mean, they could. They should. Absolutely. Just not right now during this WrestleMania season. I want to believe, hey, maybe after WrestleMania, somewhere like a Backlash or a Extreme Rules, something filler. You do something with Peyton if you want. Offer Peyton Royce as a sacrificial lamb just to put over somebody. Something like that. If you will. If you fucking will. Let me just look here. But again, that's what they're saying, though. They're trying to have fans. They're trying to have 45,000 fans in attendance for both nights of WrestleMania. Again, go as you choose. But we all know for a fact at the same time, WWE, because who they are, they're going to try to gas this shit up. Oh, we don't sell 45,000. We said 70,000, pal. They're going to do it. And there's that. And again, there's people, believe it or not, who have sat home during this pandemic, who just can't wait. They can't wait to go to WrestleMania. They can't wait to be there. They cannot wait to finally go out and go back to a live wrestling show. They just can't wait. And apparently, they issued a statement. This is what Ticketmaster just recently posted on their website as a statement, okay? And again, they have the poster, everything. They got a Bad Bunny is on the poster of WrestleMania, by the way. Bad Bunny, that's right, is on the poster of WrestleMania. Let that shit sink in, guys. That's awesome. Good for him. Good for him. But this is what they posted, okay? And quote, These events use seating in pods of 1 to 6 people per pod. Pods must be purchased in their entirety and may not be divided. Tickets in a pod may not be sold or transferred to anyone other than family, trusted acquaintances who have chosen to attend the event together, unless all such tickets in the full pod are being sold or transferred to one party, unless otherwise exempted by law. Guests must wear face covering. Local venue rules apply. So there's that. You knew that was happening. Again, they're going to do the pods. I'm pretty sure, again, they've been watching Dynamite. They've seen how AEW, who, by the way, for a Revolution, they did 13,000. Apparently, they were the first non-WWE company to do a high gross pay-per-view. 6 million of pay-per-view buys. Good on them as well. Good on them. So there's that. And again, there's people out there that are just dying to go out there for WrestleMania, do the whole WrestleMania weekend, whatever that means now during this pandemic. But there's that, if you will. Good luck. I'm there in spirit. Fun little fact, I did check out how much is an airline ticket from where I'm at here in Jersey to Tampa for 4 nights or some shit like that. It's $184. Now, granted, I didn't check JetBlue or Southwest because honestly, I'm a United kind of guy. So there's that too. But I'm not going to go this year. Honestly, I am retired from WrestleMania trips. I have no issue this time watching it from home, to be honest with you. This is coming from someone that's been already to 3 WrestleManias. So I'm good. I'm good. All right? If you will. I'm good. Let's see what people are saying here in the chat. Ask questions. Seth Rollins comes back. Messiah back. Should come back. Babyface. What the fuck? Not connected as well as a heel. We need Seth Rollins face turn. Want role reverse. Roman Reigns heel. Seth Rollins babyface. I mean, I guess, but right now is Roman's time, brother. It's Roman's time right now. That's all I can tell you right now on that. Again, I don't have any notes. Keep that in mind. All right. So I'm just doing this shit off the cuff, if you will. So there's that. Let's see what happens with Andrade. There's that with WrestleMania 2. Let's get into some AEW talk, by the way. Let's get into some AEW talk. So this was their post Revolution episode. I watched both shows, by the way. I tried to watch both shows to the best of my ability. Okay. Ethan Page made his debut against Lee Johnson. And yet, let's point out the obvious. Let's point out what happened. They had some sort of audio issue. Apparently they had NBA sounding effects during the match. And it just kept on going and kept on going and kept on going. Fun little fact, to AEW's credit, right? To AEW's credit, they were able to, I guess, upload the video of the match itself on their YouTube channel, but they redid the commentary. You can just tell that they did. So good on them. Awesome. Honestly, I'm happy for someone like Ethan Page. Finally, I guess on a scale like AEW, I wish him nothing but the best. I did say that, hey, him in Impact Wrestling, if he would have stayed, he could have been the next coming of Bobby Roode, but there's that. We'll see what happens with him in AEW, if you will. Also on the show, let's get this out of the way. Was supposed to be the Dynamite debut of Christian Cage And Tony Schiavone was ready to interview him, and then out came Don Callis, the Good Brothers, and Twinkle Toes McFingerbang. I'm sorry. Kenny Olivier. I'm sorry. Harpo the Clown. I'm sorry again. Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, who will be competing at the Impact Pay-Per-View Rebellion, which I'll get into in just a little bit too, by the way. I have a lot to say about that one. So they take over the segment, and they're just talking about what happened at the pay-per-view, right? With the whole explosion, and it failed, right? They're playing it off now. They had to. Out comes Eddie Kingston, right? And they're just shit-talking Eddie Kingston. He goes on to attack, and somewhere in this segment, Kenny Omega goes down, right? They put the whole timer. They put a timer in, right? Countdown. And somewhere in this whole thing, Kenny Omega tells Don Callis, who, again, Kenny Omega is the AEW World Champion. The AEW World Champion told another man on live television to 69 him in the middle of the ring to cover him. And he did. Don Callis did. And listen, I get it. We live now in a society where shit like this is accepted, and that is fine. But just think about that, though. He told another man to 69 him in the middle of the ring. How cringeworthy is that? Can you imagine if Roman Reigns were to tell Paul Heyman to 69 him in the middle of the ring? Can you imagine if Bobby Lashley told MVP to 69, which, by the way, Lashley has this fucking amazing entrance now, by the way. I'm sold. But it is what it is. And this came off so like, bro, really? And then that's what happened, right? Out comes Christian Cage. He shows up, had the stare down with Kenny Omega. Kenny wants to shake his hand, but Christian wasn't having it till Kenny goes for the swing. And then Christian tried to go for the Unprettier, but Don pulls him out of the ring. And then you see Christian Cage holding on to the AEW World Championship. So, what it looks like, we're going to get Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. Because, hey, if Edge is challenging Roman Reigns, right, at WrestleMania, if you're Tony Khan, let's get his tag team partner to challenge for our world title. That's logic, by the way. It's stupid, but it is. Now, yeah, this is something that TNA would have done years ago, right? Have their guy fresh off WWE challenging for their world title, likely win. But I don't think that's going to happen here. I don't think we're going to get Christian Cage defeating Kenny Omega for the world champion. That would be stupid if they did that. That would be the most dumbest shit in the fucking world if they actually pull that off, which I don't think they will. I do not think they're going to do that. Listen, I'm sure it'll be a fun match. I know Christian wants to be active again and wrestle still. I'm pretty sure they're paying him very well to do so. So be it. On paper, yes, a Christian Cage and Kenny Omega match, fine, but not for no fucking world title. Nor a world title change. And again, his debut on Dynamite just came off so uneventful to me. It's like they shitted on him by not having him do his proper interview. Why is he even there? It's like he just stood there, tries to attack Kenny Omega, and holds on to the championship. So there was that. Like, it just came off so fucking, like, I guess so wrong almost in a sense. It came off so organized. Rated R Wrestling, AEW equals TNA? Most likely, yeah. Most likely, yeah, man. Most likely, yes. It was also reported that the WWE Hall of Fame will be taking place on April 6th on Peacock. Sorry, that's going to be on a Tuesday. So apparently this year, what they're going to do is do the ceremony for not only the class of 2021, which, by the way, the first inductee of the 2021 class is Molly Holly. I mean, fine, rightfully so, I guess, right? And also what they're going to do is present the class of 2020, since there wasn't a Hall of Fame last year because of the pandemic. But from what I'm hearing as well, obviously, it's going to be a virtual Hall of Fame where there's not going to be a ceremony like every other year where you show up and you sit there for hours and listen to stories and all that stuff. No, this year they're going to do it pre-recorded where everyone who's receiving an inductee or going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame are going to probably grab their iPhones or what have you, or Android phones, and record themselves giving a speech, if you will. And I'm fine with that. And again, for the simple fact of, listen, hey, we're in a pandemic. WWE, the way I look at it, yes, they have a program for WrestleMania weekend. But this year, the objective is, let's get people in the building for WrestleMania. That is the objective this year. And this is coming from someone that's been to a Hall of Fame ceremony in the past. And you guys already know my point of view of the Hall of Fame. What I think about it. I think, again, they should definitely consider not doing it with fans. Because a lot of time these fans can be very disrespectful. A lot of time these fans think that it's about them when it's not, especially at the Hall of Fame ceremony. I said this also. A part of me really believes, listen, once this pandemic is over and they're having fans back in the buildings, right? Because you know it's going to happen. We're almost there, people. We're almost fucking there. Okay? And the belief is, hey, again, we're going to go back to WrestleMania travel packages and the Hall of Fame were you able to purchase a ticket for the Hall of Fame? If you're going to do so, WWE needs to enforce some rules for the ceremony. If you're going to go, you need to go through a dress code. Listen, I've seen Hall of Fame ceremonies, I've been to ceremonies where people show up and they're wearing their generic wrestling shirt with a fucking nacho stain or a chicken wing stain with popping a big old cup of soda and just chanting out some random bullshit. To me, again, if you're doing a Hall of Fame ceremony, you need to, if you're in the building for the Hall of Fame ceremony, it's got to be a dress code. Now, I'm not saying you got to go out in a fucking 3-piece suit. All I'm saying is, listen, a polo shirt, some Dockers, and you're good. That should be the dress code for the Hall of Fame ceremony, if you will. That's just me. And listen, yes, I've been there too. I know these stories can be long as shit. I even said this story too in the past. A couple of years ago, WrestleMania 32 weekend in Dallas, I went with Connor. You all may know him as OKFabe and Matt from In the Robe Show. And I remember it was Stan Hansen giving a speech. And somewhere in the speech, I was falling asleep. And not because, oh my God, I thought he was boring. No, at the time, we were doing a lot of shit that day. We went to WrestleCon that day and just the walk and all that stuff. It was crazy, right? So when I got there, I was falling asleep. I had to go buy a soda. But you also hear over the years, all the people try to take over the ceremony with these chants, and it's disrespectful at times. So there's that too. The Hall of Fame ceremony the Hall of Fame ceremony needs the time limit on speeches. They always run way too long. I think this year they will, because they're not going to be in a building. They're not going to be any fans. So there's that. Going to be really busy week. They got an event every day of the week. Yeah, that's true as well. They got a whole week of events. See, they find a way to get people excited for WrestleMania. Dude, I was at Dallas too, and that was a rough one to get through. It's tough to stay interested that entire time. Amen, brother. Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's that too. I mean, again, Molly Holly's going in. I'm fine with it. I'm fine. When you look at someone like Molly Holly at a time when they were doing bra and panty matches and blondes and these, you kind of get the idea. Here's Molly Holly, who was a good wrestler. And again, shined based off her in-ring ability. So there's that too. So there's that. Also, and again, I'm going back and forth on a lot of shit. All right. Again, there's no format for tonight. I don't have a script. If anything, what I just did, fun little fact, I took a screenshot of the description box on today's podcast, and I have it here on my phone. Okay, so I'm going off that. I don't have any fucking notes. Holy shit. Let's get into back to some AEW. The whole thing with the Inner Circle at the end of the show. Holy crap. What the fuck? So they had Jericho in the Inner Circle, and they're, I guess, changed some shit around, right? Sammy Guevara comes out, and again, Jericho wants nothing to do with Sammy, right? And he wants them to listen. Just watch this. And again, we all know Sammy Guevara is also a vlogger, right? He's also a YouTuber and all that stuff. He's like pro wrestling's Casey Neistat, if you will. That's what it's basically what Sammy Guevara is on YouTube. He is basically pro wrestling's Casey Neistat when it comes to vlogs, okay? So he puts a camera, he puts a hidden camera. He leaves the room so the other members of the Inner Circle show up. And MJF walks in. He talks about taking out Jericho tonight, taking him out. A new leader in the Inner Circle, that being MJF. And it looked like it was going to work, right? So you had Santana, Ortiz, right? Hager, ready to take out, I guess, in this case, just Jericho. And Jericho's with Sammy, right? So there's them two against the rest of them. And they all turn around ready to take out MJ. So they pull a fast one on MJF. But then MJF tries to go to apology, but then says that, hey, he's formed his own Inner Circle. The lights go out. And you're wondering, who could it be? The lights turn back on, and you have in the ring Tully Blanchard. You have FTR. And you have Shawn Spears. And they all take out everyone. They take out every member of the Inner Circle. Jericho starts bleeding. And then they powerbomb him. Wardlow powerbombs him off the stage. And they don't even make it obvious that there's a crash pad. He lands, and you can see the crash pad. Poof, poof. It's like a beanbag almost. Like, if you ever watched, I don't know, this is an old show on Nickelodeon called Guts. And they would run the obstacle course, right? And at the end, they jump and they land on this fucking crash, on this fucking airbag almost. That's what it looked like at the end, if you will. I mean, people are saying now, hey, blood and guts. I can see that down the road, but I think the money would be if you save that for, I guess, when the fans are back in the building fully. And hopefully not in Daly's place. But we'll see what happens with that. But from it looks like they're going to be in Daly's place for a while. It's funny too. With all these states that are opening up again, right? You just talks of Texas open up again. To name one, right? Florida also. I know obviously they've been in Florida. You would think that WWE or AEW would consider trying to take a shot at Texas. That's just me. I don't know. Just throwing it out there, if you will. Just throwing it out there. Also on AEW Dynamite, we had Cody Rhodes, I guess, being confronted by Pentagon Jr., Pentagon El Cerro M, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And again, Pentagon was talking in Spanish. It came off so badass. And you had Alex Abrahantes like translating for Pentagon. And I guess eventually he spoke in English. Yes, Pentagon can speak English here. Right? And he's just talking about Cody and his wife and a kid. And apparently from there, Cody snapped. And they started brawling, what have you. Now, to do a Cody Rhodes and Pentagon program, I'm in. Sign me up. Because you know why? This is the first time since, I want to believe, Escalera de la Muerte from Double or Nothing 2019, that you're actually doing something with Pentagon on a singles guy. Because let's be honest here, Pentagon, these past couple of months, they've done nothing really big with him. We know he's part of that tag team with Rey Fenix. We know as a tag team, those guys can go. We've seen them go in Impact Wrestling, right? AEW, it's there, right? But as a singles guy, the first time that they're doing something with Pentagon, and I'm all for it. And I'm pretty sure, again, a Pentagon and Cody match will be a fun match. But I'm also hearing that Cody's hurt. He has a torn rotator cuff. Likely, this is what I'm assuming here, okay? They'll do the program, they'll do the match, and then Cody goes away to get the surgery. Then, again, I'm pretty sure his wife will give birth to their daughter, so there's that too. I'm reading the comments. There's a rated R for wrestling. Thank you for tuning in. Double Swerve Jericho was playing MJF, and MJF was playing Inner Circle. Thought it was really good. Surprised the angle. That I will agree with, if you will. I just did not like that crash pad at the end. I think Rey Fenix is the more exciting guy in the ring, but Penta has the character and the attitude of a star. Absolutely. 100% on that one. So there was that. That's, I guess, like, oh my God, worth catching an eye for, if you will. So there's that. We had Darby Allin. I'm sorry, I call him here on the show. I call him Trevor. Trevor versus fucking hell, Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship, where Trevor won. Trevor, aka Darby Allin, got the win, and after, Scorpio Sky turned heel and attacked Darby Allin once the match was over with. It's cool, it's a heel turn, but I mean, I want to hear the promo. What caused this to happen? Again, if you watched the Dynamite before Revolution, he was giving you hints that, yeah, he's turning heel. It's gonna happen, and now it's here. Why? That's what I want to hear. Why? I can think of why. Hey, he was part of SCU. You could tell he was the future out of those three, and he deserves better. He had that program with Cody for the championship, the TNT championship, right? He was the first guy to pin Chris Jericho in Jericho's AEW run when he was the champion. So I'm pretty sure he'll throw all that in there. I'm pretty sure he will. So we'll see what happens with that. Some NXT talk real quick. I did watch NXT as well. I did see that they have crowned, well, first, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. As you guys remember, 2 weeks ago on NXT, it was Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and that whole debacle happened. So Regal made a big announcement. First announcement is that WrestleMania weekend, there'll be a takeover. Not one night, but 2 nights of takeover. NXT takeover, stand and deliver. It's going to be, as far as I know, the Wednesday and Thursday night. Let me just make sure real quick. What's up, Howard? How are you? I just want to make sure I'm getting this shit correctly, because, again, I don't have any notes here, okay? I don't have no fucking notes today. So there's that, too. Let me see here. Stand and deliver. Let me see here. Yeah, it's going to take place here. Again, 2 nights, April 7th and April 8th. So April 7th is going to be, to my understanding, on the USA Network. And after the other one, on the 8th, is going to be on Peacock. So there's that too. And I guess also the WWE Network. So there's that. Again, it's one or the other. 2 nights to take over. I mean, honestly, I think one is good enough. That's just me. Obviously, they're not going to be able to have fans in the building like you would consider every other takeover. It's cool, though, that there's a takeover for WrestleMania weekend. It's that WrestleMania weekend feel. Remember last year's takeover? They're going to do for WrestleMania weekend, but then the whole pandemic happened. So then they had to move that takeover to the episode of NXT and all that stuff. So I'm cool with this. They also presented Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez as the first ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. They presented the belt, and the belt looked just like the men's tag team title, just with the white strap. Now, I think, honestly, to add another championship is no. yes, NXT has the better women's division in wrestling. Let's not kid ourselves here, okay? But this doesn't mean that, hey, we should add another fucking championship. You know, the purpose of the WWE Women's Tag Team titles was that those titles could go to all three brands. Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And now that doesn't happen no more. Now those tag titles go on Raw and SmackDown. And NXT now has their own pair of women's tag team titles. Now, what I can hope here is that title could also, because apparently the tribal ban has been lifted per Jordan Devlin, which I'll get into in just a sec as well. I want to hope now that those tag team titles from NXT, the women's tag titles, can travel from here into the UK. That's my only belief here. That's going to happen. So we'll see about that one. But also later on in the night, you had the first title defense, but you had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, and they lost. So just how quick they were awarded those tag titles, they were taken away. To me, made no sense, but there's that. Okay, there was that. I did see the main event of NXT, Adam Cole versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. I thought overall it was a very good match. These two guys honestly could wrestle every fucking night, and I would be amazed. No cap, I would be fucking amazed. Finn Balor got the win. After the match, I guess Kyle O'Reilly showed up and he attacked Adam Cole. Just attacked him. Just again, after what happened a couple weeks ago. It's funny because he tries to, I guess, suplex Adam Cole onto the steel steps, and Cole made, again, you had all these referees separating both of them, right? And they kept going at it. And in the ring, you had Finn Balor with the championship, and right behind him is Karrion Kross. And I like how they zoomed into the camera, and yet Finn Balor just say, "What took you so long?" And then they pan out, there's Karrion Kross right behind him. Something out of Dragon Ball Z, I swear to fucking God, yo. But yeah, we now know where things are going. We're going to get Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. That's the next program. Likely at this TakeOver standing alone. It's crazy because, again, there was talks of the NXT Championship being defended on one of the nights of WrestleMania. Now, again, there's talks of they have no clue what they're going to do for WrestleMania. That I'm assuming now that just got scrapped though. Like, fuck, this is over with. So there's that too. There's that also. Also, I mentioned Jordan Devlin earlier. Jordan Devlin, apparently he'll be on NXT television next week. As he will be, I guess, on NXT television calling out Santos Escobar. So we're finally going to get this match, the most anticipated Cruiserweight Championship match. We have Jordan Devlin, who, in my eyes, in my opinion, is the real Cruiserweight champion, versus Santos Escobar, who has been the interim Cruiserweight champion, because, again, Jordan Devlin could have not been here because of the whole pandemic. So it's finally happening. I would say this for TakeOver. That's just me. You could easily put this on night one as the co-feature main event. That's just me, of course. But that's not working for WWE, so what the fuck do I know, right? What the fuck do I know? I did not get to watch SmackDown, to be honest with you guys. I'm honest about it. I was busy. I was at work that Friday night, so I didn't get home till like fucking 10:30, and when I got home, SmackDown was over. I did hear, though, about the contract signing between Bryan and Roman Reigns. Apparently, Bryan got into Roman's skin. So there is that. And I guess next week we're going to get now Edge versus Jey Uso. And the winner is going to be the special enforcer in the Universal Championship match at Fastlane. Now, if you notice, Edge is not happy that Daniel Bryan is getting involved in this shit. He's not happy. Not happy with it. Not one bit. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you're getting a championship match. You're getting a fucking championship match at WrestleMania guaranteed. But he doesn't like that Daniel Bryan's getting involved. For a lot of people, they'll tell you that, hey, Daniel Bryan's been the saving grace of this program. Daniel Bryan is what this program needed because Edge and Roman has been a bore. I don't look at it that way. There's even people that are saying that, hey, Edge and Roman need Daniel Bryan to make this a three-way at WrestleMania. It makes you think that's where they're going with this shit. It makes you think that, hey, we're probably going to get a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Now, I personally am not a fan of championship matches. In this case, the Universal title, because we know this is closing night 2 of WrestleMania. I am not a fan, okay? I'm not a fan of championship matches being done in the three-way at WrestleMania. No. They're not doing it. And if they are doing it, Bryan's eating the fall. Just the way that it is. Just the way that it is. But there's that. There's that too. We'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. We'll see what they'll do. I know Fastlane is next week. So there's that also. And no, there will not be a giveaway. I'm not doing one this time for Fastlane. This is not. Probably doing the next one for WrestleMania. So I'll keep you posted on that one too. So there's that. Also, I did watch the main event of Rich Swann versus Moose at Sacrifice last night. Yeah, Impact Wrestling did a free preview. Or they're one of their Impact Plus pay-per-views, if you will, right? That was already pre-taped because Finn Juice, who won the Impact Tag titles last night, they were in Japan when this, literally yesterday. So this was pre-taped, if you will, part of Impact Plus. The main event, though, was Moose, who was the recognized TNA World Champion, going up against Rich Swann, who is the Impact World Champion, in a championship unification match. Championship unification match. And listen, I thought the match was pretty good. Those two guys went out there, they tore it up. Moose did this move off the top rope. A throwaway slam. Yeah, like a fucking throwaway slam. And he did like a fucking backflip in midair. And got a crazy near fall. But eventually, Rich Swann picked up the W. And the stipulation here was not only will the winner be the unified champion, but they would go to Rebellion to challenge Kenny Omega in a winner-takes-all title-for-title match. And yes, like I mentioned before, Rich Swann won the match. And I watched this whole thing. And listen, yes, it was a good match. But I'm like, really, Impact Wrestling? You guys had one job. And listen, I know a lot of people are going to throw out there and say, oh, but Steve, it made sense for Rich to win because Moose doesn't get pinned by Kenny Omega. You can make that argument all the fuck you want. But here's how I look at it too, right? Because they're going to build this up in AEW. They have to, right? And I want to believe that in this situation, Rich Swann is going to show up on Dynamite to hype up the match. But would it have been even cooler of a bigger deal if you had Moose show up on TNT, right, as the Impact World Champion, and you get people who don't watch Impact, or again, who am I kidding? In this situation, the AEW fan base know about Impact Wrestling. They do, okay? But if you're a casual viewer, right, tuning in on a Wednesday night, right, and you happen to pop up on TNT and you see Moose, a guy who's built like a star, who you could put a company behind and build around as the Impact World Champion, challenging Kenny Omega, who's the AEW World Champion, it's going to make you say, oh, you know what? This Moose guy, he's a big fucking deal. I'm going to go watch Impact and see what the fuck he's doing. But instead, we have Rich Swann. And listen, nothing against Rich Swann. I think Rich Swann is a good wrestler. Don't get me wrong. But he's not someone that I'm putting my world title on if I'm Impact Wrestling. He's not someone,
if I'm going to go into a title unification match with the champion from another company, I'm not going to have Rich Swann represent my company as world champion, even if he's going to eat the pinfall, even if we already know it's going to be established that Kenny Omega is walking out as the AEW world champion as well as the Impact world champion. Just wouldn't have it. And yes, you can say, oh, but this leads to Moose to be the one to save Impact and be the Impact Wrestling guy to take the belt off Kenny Omega, which might happen. That's the only thing I hope now comes off from this. Because other than that, listen, they had one job last night. And that is to, again, set up Moose and Kenny Omega. And listen, I'm pretty sure the Kenny Omega Rich Swann match will be nothing but flips, dives, near falls. And listen, Kenny Omega has worked matches before with big guys, strong guys too. So I don't want to hear this bullshit, oh, you know, him and Moose, it would have never worked out, because it would have, okay? It would have worked out. But it is what it is. And again, if you're Impact Wrestling, you wonder why a lot of times people don't tune into your shows. You give reason for people to tune out, to go away, like, now watching this shit. It happens. It fucking happens. Also on the show, I mentioned before, Finn Juice won the tag titles, even though, again, the match was already pre-recorded because Finn Juice were in Japan. Deonna Purrazzo defeated ODB. She made ODB tap out clean, so there's that too. Again, I didn't watch the show. I heard the results of the other matches, so there's that too. Let's get into this real quick before I wrap things up here. Kip Sabian was in the news with Jim Cornette. Now, you all know Jim Cornette has been very critical of AEW. Hell, one of the most criticized, one of the biggest critics of AEW. And I guess he says something about Penelope Ford, to which led to, I guess, Miro calling out Jim Cornette, calling him a mark, that he'll find him in the basement that he's in if he calls Penelope Ford a slut again and all that shit. Penelope Ford also responded and shit like that. And in case you guys don't know, Kip Sabian, who wrestles for AEW, who is the husband of Penelope Ford, I guess also responded and talked shit about Jim Cornette and what have you. And this is what I guess he posted yesterday on Twitter. And I had this tweet here on my phone, unless something happened here. And this is what Kip Sabian said on Twitter. I have it here, by the way. Okay, I have it right there. Legit, Jim Cornette is a total all talk wet lettuce. His funeral is going to be a joyous occasion. And I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, come on. And again, listen, I am not condoning the fact that Jim Cornette is talking all this shit about his wife, about this man's wife, right? It should not be happening. Should not be happening. But to sit there and say that you're going to celebrate the day this guy dies, like, come on, bro. You're better than that if you're Kip Sabian. He's not making things any better, right? And then apparently this came out as well. This was in the beginning of this latest episode of the Sound Off, right? And I'm going to play it here. Apparently this is what Kip Sabian said on a live stream because apparently he's also a streamer on Twitch. This is what he said on the Twitch stream. Oh, I'm playing it right now.
It's like I said, we don't have to worry about it because he's definitely going to die at some point soon, and then we can all, like, dance. We can have a celebration. That'll be probably one of the first times on the internet that I will probably post something like a celebratory post, you know? And I mean that. I'm not even joking. I'm deadly serious. Like, I cannot wait for that man to die.
Let that sink in for a second, y'all. He wants this guy to die. He's going to celebrate at his funeral. He's going to do all this shit. Celebratory post. Here's the thing, bro. Again, I get it. You know, Jim Cornette should not be talking shit about this man's wife. In this case, Kip Sabian. Penelope Ford is a beautiful woman, okay? She is beautiful to look at. There's no denying that. But if you're Kip Sabian and you're on his platform, and again, I get it. He talks shit about your wife, but you talking about his funeral will be a joyous occasion. Him talking about the day he dies, he's going to celebrate and do all this shit. That's sickening. That is just like, bro, really? But yet everyone's putting the blind eye to this. All these AEW diehard are putting the blind eye to this shit. And you know who's putting the biggest blind eye here? Tony Khan. Tony Khan is like, nope, nothing to see here. Nothing to fucking see. And that's the sad part about it. Let's be honest here, okay? Jim Cornette, and again, I know a lot of you out there may have your point of view on Jim Cornette, and that's fine. But let's be honest here. Jim Cornette has forgotten so much about the pro wrestling business that a lot of these guys in AEW will never learn. Will never grasp and shit like that. And that's reality here. That's reality. I don't hate Kip Sabian. I think, again, overall, he's a young talent that, again, has a whole years ahead of him. So there's that. But I just don't think he should be using this platform that's Twitch and go on a stream and just talk shit. And granted, yeah, I know people are going to say too, oh, but didn't Jim Cornette say the same shit about Vince Russo? Yeah, he has. Doesn't make any better either. Just do better, people. Just do fucking better. All right? If you have a social media platform, use it for good. Don't use it for bad. Okay? Let's all love each other at the end of the fucking day and all that hippity hoopla. So there's that for me, guys. It's been a long, crazy day as it is for me. I'm just ready to crash. I got shit to do tomorrow morning. I don't like Kip. He sucks. And then that's fine too. And that, again, I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm fully aware of that. Weed and wrestling. How sad is it when a company keeps people on board with no internet on using them, with no intent on using them, just to keep other companies from having them? And I agree with that too, Andre. I agree with that too. But again, we'll see what happens tomorrow with Andrade. We'll see what happens with that. I'm pretty sure I talked about everything. I'm pretty sure that I did. So there's that. Again, guys, I had a long day as it is. Too bad the territories didn't do that to Vince when he raped the territories. Fact that old man. I guess so. I mean, listen, man, at the end of the day, say what you want about young Vince, but that motherfucker was a hustler, bro. That motherfucker was a savage, yo. I feel like if we could set up a time machine, right? If we can bring young Vince from the 80s to today's wrestling, and just to remind old Vince, this is what you once were. Remember who you were, if you will. So there's that. Anyway, guys, I'm about to just knock out here. I might get some FIFA going. It's been a long day as it is. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. You guys have been awesome as always. Yeah, I'm just out of it today, guys. I'm sorry. You can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. Also over at Instagram at HeelSteven. I'll be back probably this week. Might pop out a video here or two. Likely because the pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. I believe it's this Sunday, right? When is Fastlane? When is WWE Fastlane here? Let me just give a look here. Fastlane is literally, the 21st. It's literally this coming Sunday. This Friday, I do plan on going live on the air with Around the Point. I'll do predictions. I'll give my thoughts on other thoughts that's happening in the world of wrestling, all that stuff. All right. So there's that. And then Sunday, I'll do the live review here on the channel. All right. So that's how we're doing things this upcoming week. But again, I thank you all for tuning in, all that fun stuff. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give the video a big old thumbs up. All that fun hippity hoopla, okay? And with that being said, guys, I am Steve, and this has been another installment of Around the Point. Peace out, everyone.